Hi, and welcome to Pet Pals. Every week we showcase animals that are available for adoption through the Frederick County Division of Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. I'm Linda Shea, Division Director, and with me is Randy Cooper, our long-term volunteer that helps with Pet Pals every week and is dedicated to our shelter animals. And the first dog we're going to take a look at, this is Apollo, and he absolutely has a sense of humor. he apparently understands that he's getting fur all over the nice black pants that I dressed in this morning. So that seems to be why he's gravitated over here. He is very well mannered. This seems to be what he does best this early in the morning. Just seems to be a great companion dog. Apollo is about 2 years old. Gorgeous Siberian Husky. So if you know anything about Huskies, they've got that double coat. You need to know your way around a vacuum cleaner and have tolerance for the fur that they can leave behind, whether it's on furniture or on black pants. But he's got a great temperament. He was turned in by his owners. They were moving, unable to take him along where they were going to, and they had gotten him from a breeder back when he was a puppy, and being unable to take him along turned him in. But he's in good health. He's about 53 pounds, so he's kind of, for me, on the smaller side of Siberians, and it can be deceptive because of their fur. The main thing you need to know about this breed is that they have a sled dog mentality. They can be difficult to train to recall. Their instinct just leads them to run the opposite direction of their owner. So you want to make sure if you have this kind of dog in your life that you have a secured yard, that you train him to come back. But as you can see, he's got great manners. He is very social, very affectionate, and is definitely doing well at the shelter. But we're looking forward to placing him with a Siberian, preferably a Siberian experienced family or somebody that has given thought to his needs. But this is Apollo, our very handsome Siberian Husky, and available for adoption. So this little guy is Junior. He's a Beagle mix. He's only about 6 to 7 months old, and he was actually adopted from here about a month ago. And the family that we adopted him to, there is no perfect system in adoptions. I've already decided that. We do our best in screening people, checking with landlords, making sure that all the family members come in so any allergies are kind of addressed. And then we have an adoption interview where we talk about the animal-specific needs, a plan. So for a dog like Junior, we would talk about training and exercise and expending that energy in a positive manner. But after 3 weeks of having Junior, the family that adopted him just said he was too much puppy, too much dog, he needs room to run. We know all those things, so it's a matter of when you are going to introduce a pet into your family, you want to make sure you make accommodations for all of the things that we talk about. And while it can be distracting to look at a really cute puppy and just want that, you have to employ your brain and kind of put forth an effort in considering if you're up at 5 in the morning because he's not house trained yet, if you have to walk him outside, feed him breakfast, still get ready for work, still manage to get your kids ready for school on the bus, and then manage a dog. All of that comes into a play of just balancing things. So that's the main reason for our adoption process. We try to avoid situations like this. But Junior is back now, again, 6 to 7 months old, very enthusiastic, does have a good foundation for good manners. He's very food motivated, friendly with people, has a great attitude about life, so that's all in his favor. So if you're interested in adopting Junior, you want to make sure you come in, but you want to make sure you have a plan, because that's one thing that we're going to definitely ask about. How are you going to successfully incorporate a dog like this into your family? So this little active guy is Charlie. Charlie is about 3 years old. He's a Jack Russell Terrier mix. He's got that gorgeous bicolor black and white, and he's only about 17 pounds. And even so, at 3 years old, he's fully grown. He's already neutered. He came to us because his family was moving. So again, when you incorporate a pet into your family, that's definitely has to be a consideration. The top 2 reasons animals are turned into our shelter, people moving and then people developing allergies. So the moving part, we do understand that sometimes if you're renting, the deposit for pets can be expensive. Any addition to your monthly rent can be expensive. So, if you're put in that situation, we understand, but we, definitely the preference is to plan ahead and perhaps not have a pet. The other option to having a pet is to volunteer at an animal shelter. We always have plenty of pets, and or even fostering an animal, you can do that through us. We've got a very strong foster care program. So if you're interested in fostering pets, that would be something to look in as well. But Charlie's here now. He did have possible kennel cough at some point, which we treated, and he is obviously resolved at this point. Again, about 17 pounds, so while he's not, I wouldn't consider him a lap dog, he apparently thinks differently. So if you're looking for a smaller breed dog, do some research on Jack Russell Terriers. They are very intelligent and very smart, and they can have a mind of their own. But Charlie is up for adoption now. So this little guy is Oliver. Oliver is about 3 years old. He is our chocolate and tan Chihuahua, very handsome, very sweet. He's got somewhat of a sad story. He has been with someone since February. In February, his owner passed away, so a family member, a friend, took him on for the last few months, but they just didn't consider, they don't have enough time for him. So that's how he ended up here at the shelter. So we're looking to place him preferably with someone who's got dog experience, somebody who can give him some time. You need patience. A lot of times when animals, when their situations change unexpectedly, it can be similar to what happens with people. When your situation changes unexpectedly, you've got to kind of mentally regroup and rehash and kind of rebuild some of that trust. So that's what we're looking for him. We want a family that can offer him some patience and some time and understand that it might take him a while to acclimate to a new family since he's been used to a consistent life until this point. But we have brought him up to speed on vaccines, on preventatives. He came in neutered, so we know that his original owner cared enough about him to have that done. He's already microchipped, and he's just about 10 pounds. So again, a good size if you are appreciative of small dogs, and if you're appreciative of Chihuahuas. Typically they're very loyal, and they can be a little bit shy and a little concerned with children. So we're not sure what his experience is. Looks like he's been around children 12 and up. One of the common questions that we get, especially with little dogs, sometimes we will make the recommendation that they are good with small children or older children, adult home only, and that typically is mostly a recommendation, but it's a conversation point. And what that indicates is that we've assessed the dog's behavior, their mannerisms, we look at their history, we look at how they react to staff, to other people that are visiting the shelter. And so from all that information, that's why we make those recommendations. And ultimately, our obligation is to the shelter animals. Our obligation is to place them in forever homes to the best of our ability, and that's what we try to do every day. So if you are not selected for an animal, or if we move on to another application, it's not a personal attack or offense. It's just simply trying to make the best decision we can with the information that we have. But this is Oliver, again, our very adorable 10-pound Chihuahua looking for a forever home. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, we've got 4 kittens or cats, and we've got 1 bunny to take a look at that are also looking for forever homes.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Seniors stay active and engaged in the community while making new friends by participating in events at Frederick County Senior Centers. Each of the 4 centers provide a variety of educational, health, fitness, and recreational activities, as well as resources to help area seniors maintain their wellness and independence. Nutritious congregate meals are offered daily for contributions of up to $5, and limited transportation services are provided for seniors 60 and older. Advanced registration is required for both of these services. Contact your local senior center for specific information about the programs and services offered in your area.
Using transit has never been easier for smartphone users with the launch of the Transit EasyFare mobile ticketing app. Simply download the free application onto your Apple or Android device and you'll have everything you need to plan your next ride right in the palm of your hand. Purchase passes quickly and securely. Discover the right route, bus numbers, and departure times for your next ride using the Plan Your Trip feature. And stay informed about scheduling changes and other agency news by visiting Transit's Twitter feed. Plus, with visual validation, your phone never has to leave your hand. To learn more about how the Transit EasyFare app can work for you, visit frederickcountymd.gov/transit or call 301-600-2065.
Welcome back to Pet Pals. Now we're going to take a look at some of the cuties that are on our feline adoption floor here at the shelter. Kittens are very entertaining, and this is just one of many that we have coming back from foster care. This is Sharky. Sharky's about 3 months old. She's a little girl, and she came in as a stray. They found her up in Emmitsburg, so the folks that found her brought her in, and she was underage at the time. This happened back in April when we started getting a lot of our kittens in. And of course, when they're underage, we put them in a home environment, gives them a chance to stay healthy, gives them a chance to be socialized, and we can observe them for litter box habits and all those things. And in the meantime, while they're in foster care, they're getting medical care, preventatives as far as vaccines, deworming, and anything else that they might need. So a lot of times, and you'll hear me say this over and over and over again, when we have folks that adopt an animal that's been in foster care, when they are ready to adopt a second or third pet, they will often request to see animals that have been in foster care as well, just because they come back so well socialized, especially when we take our underage kittens, and they might not have a mom necessarily with them, but they've been in a family situation. So this little girl has been with young children. And of course, we know with young children, they often have friends. And when you have a collection of young children, you often have noise. So Sharky is very desensitized, very sweet. She's a little over 3 pounds. Prior to leaving here, she will be spayed. And as with all of our felines, we've tested her for feline leukemia and feline immunodeficiency virus, and she is negative on both of those. So if you're looking for a kitten, we can't always guarantee that this particular kitten will be available, but she is just an example of one of many kittens now available for adoption. So this little girl is named Maple. She's also a product from a different foster care family. She is also about 3 months old, just about 3 pounds. Prior to leaving here, she'll be spayed. And the adoption fee for kittens and adult cats is $97.50. As they get older in age, there is there's senior discounts at 5 years of age, at 10 years of age. So, but our kittens are $97.50, and that includes again all the vaccines that they need, spay, neuter, microchip. Once they get old enough, they also get a rabies vaccine on our adoption floor. And state law says that dogs, cats, and ferrets, by the time they reach 4 months of age, need to be current on a rabies vaccine. And sometimes folks don't realize that unlike human vaccinations, animals need boosters periodically. So for rabies vaccine, your first vaccine is good for 1 year. And then after that, specific to cats, depending on the vaccine that you get, it will be good for either 1 additional year or 3 additional years. So that's a conversation you want to have with your veterinarian. Your veterinarian is going to be your best friend for your pet's life. Every animal needs to go to a vet, whether it's an exotic or a domestic cat or dog. You want to make sure that you have a vet incorporated into your pet ownership life, and you want to make sure that your pet gets to your veterinarian at least once a year for a nose to tail exam to make sure that everything's working properly. And at that point is when you can discuss preventative measures such as vaccines, topicals, diet, nutrition, and any other things that that might make recommendations. A lot of times folks are struggling financially. We do have low-cost clinics through the year for rabies as well as microchipping, and we've got information. So if you've got pets in your family that need to be spayed or neutered, we also have information on low-cost spay-neuter. This is Rowan. So Rowan is also from foster care. And again, if you want to help out and you're not able to have cats for a long-term part of your family, please give some consideration to fostering for our shelter. Again, we have a great foster care program with underage kittens. We provide you everything you need, and when they're very little, they need oftentimes kitten milk replacer. We provide that. We provide their preventative vaccines. We set you up with vet appointments that you would need to keep just as you would with your personal pets, but we do try to support our foster care providers by just being available and helping them through the process. And of course, if you've got questions, we've got many years of experience with cats and kittens. But Rowan is available for adoption. He is also about 3 months old, came to us back at the end of April. Again, found as a stray, and he was found as a stray on 340 near the 180 exit. So I'm going to guess that there's several cats out there that are reproducing. One of the common questions that comes up or conversations is about community cats or free roaming cats, and one of the obligations, if you're a caretaker of a colony, you want to make sure that you get the adult cats spayed and neutered. Otherwise, you're contributing to the problem. And while kittens not in and of themselves are not a problem, the number of kittens is definitely a problem in Frederick County. We take in way more kittens and adult cats than we can possibly place in homes. And if they are underage and they're not socialized and they're not placed in foster care homes, they can become very antisocial, and their chances of becoming adoptable lessen as they get older. So that's one of the things. If you need information on low-cost spay-neuter, we understand there's a financial obligation involved there. So we have information on low-cost spay-neuter, and at this point in time, we also have a grant. If you are a senior citizen, if you are a low-income earner, and if you are on any government program, such as WIC or anything, Social Security, you would be eligible. So you want to make sure that you contact the shelter and ask for information on the Snyder grant. But in the meantime, Rowan is here. Prior to being adopted, he will be neutered, current on vaccines, and also microchipped. So again, one of our many kittens that is available on the adoption floor right now. This is Bunny. She is an Angora bunny, about 3.5 years old or so. She is also a return to shelter, and her family had adopted her from us a little over 3 years ago, but over time has developed allergies to the bunny and to the peripherals of Timothy hay that the bunny has been had in her cage. So that's the reason she's been turned in. We are an open admission shelter, meaning that we take in any animal that needs us from within Frederick County, whether they're turned in by a resident of Frederick County or found as a stray within county parameters. So Bunny is here with us now. We don't just have dogs and cats. There are certain times of the year when we seem to get more bunnies than others, and right now, fortunately, we only have about 3 on our adoption floor right now. We've got Bunny, we've got Jane, and we've got Spice. So if you're looking to add a bunny into your family, you want to make sure that primarily you do the research, do some reading. Our reference is the House Rabbit Society website, houserabbitsociety.org or rabbits.org. You'll have to double check me on that website. But they have a lot of information, good vetted information on bunny care. And you want to give some thought. Bunnies require just as much care as dogs and cats. They do require vet visits. They do require somebody to be observant of their nails, of their coat, of their teeth, of their eating habits, of their elimination habits. Bunnies also require enrichment in their housing. So you can't just put them in a cage and offer them pellets and water and think they'll be okay. They need toys, they need places to hide, they need things to carpet squares, different textures, and you want to make sure that you give a special note to their diet. They require pellets, but they can also have fresh vegetables. You want to make sure that you don't offer them piles of carrots. Carrots have way too much sugar, so maybe one small baby carrot a day would be a good addition to a normal diet. But again, if you talk to your veterinarian about your bunny, you're going to get the best information possible. But this is Bun A. Again, she's about 3.5 years old. She's a little girl. She's already spayed all of our bunnies that leave the shelter, just like our dogs and cats are spayed and neutered prior to leaving. You can tell she's got a great temperament. She's perfectly comfortable on Randy's lap. So if you're looking for a bunny, again, do the research, ask the questions, and then adopt from the shelter. So this little bird came to us as a stray from Mount St. Mary's. Sometimes birds will escape out of windows, out of homes, maybe not necessarily the pet owner, but if you've got folks working in your house, visitors, people get creative with visiting with your pet, that can be a problem. So we've named this parakeet Pat. She came from University Way near Mount St. Mary's in Emmitsburg. So if you're missing a pet of any kind, sometimes people don't realize that we're the one and only animal shelter, and even though we're located on Rosemont Avenue in Frederick City, we do take in animals from all corners of the county, so even as far away as Emmitsburg, and that's why this bird is here now. But bird's a stray. We've got it down as an adult, and it is difficult to tell if it's a boy or a girl. Randy said that the beak is a lighter color, which may indicate female, but we're not sure. So right now this bird came to us, looks like on May 29th, so it's been here for about a week or so. If you're missing a bird, you want to check the shelter if you're interested in adopting. This is another example of do your research. Phoenix Landing is one of our resources that we go to for information on birds. So they're an excellent resource. They've got online information that can help you decide if a bird is a good fit for your family or not. But again, this is Pat the parakeet. We do take in all sorts of animals. This is probably one of the smaller ones that we've taken in quite a while. Unfortunately, Pat is right now the only bird that we have on our adoption floor. So if you're missing a bird like this, if you have a friend or neighbor missing a bird, if you see flyers in the community that are looking for a lost pet, if you would help us do our job, if you would help and just call the phone number on the flyer and advise that person that's missing their animal to come to our animal shelter to look for it, that would be a tremendous help, because we know that we can't get to all the places where I see flyers, grocery stores and corners of streets and neighborhoods. All of that helps to reunite pets with their families. But again, this is Pat the parakeet looking for a forever home. And that wraps it up for this week's Pet Pals. We are so glad you joined us today. If you've seen any animals of interest, we want to make sure that you come to the shelter and take a look at them live and in person. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Pet Pals.
Bringing home a new pet is a time filled with excitement. Everyone takes joy in finding the perfect name, and who doesn't love to play with an energetic new dog or cuddle with a purring kitten? But pet ownership is much more than the fun stuff. Adding a pet to any family is a big commitment, and one that all potential owners need to be sure they're prepared to take on.
Before adopting a pet, people really need to look at their lifestyle. Primarily, do you have time for a pet? And there's no shame if you don't have time, if you have a long commute, if you get home late at night, if you have a day that's like 10 to 12 hours, you may want to reconsider even having a pet at all. So you just want to be prepared ahead of time what it takes. If you are living in somewhere that you're renting, if you're going to move, if your family life is going to change, you want to make sure that you incorporate everything that's going on in your life and just make sure that a pet is going to be a good addition. But once you do decide to include a pet into your family, you want to make sure you have time for it. You want to make sure that you have resources for it, and that is time and financial.
An animal is going to take a lot of your time, especially if you're getting a puppy or a kitten. It's just like bringing a baby into your home. There's going to be some sleepless nights. There's going to be a lot of chewed up things that maybe you didn't want chewed up. They're going to have a lot of energy, and if you don't give them time to get that energy out and give them a conductive way to get rid of that energy, then they're going to find ways to get rid of that energy that you're probably not going to be happy with. And as far as the money part of it, the first cost would be acquiring your pet. Here at Animal Control, we adopt adult dogs for $92.50, and puppies are $150, and cats and kittens are $97.50. With us, with Animal Control, it includes spay, neuter, microchip, county license, rabies, bordetella. There's a long list of things that includes, so it's a pretty good bang for your buck from us. Then, of course, there's food, and you want to make sure you give your animal a good grade of food. There's the things that they're going to need, like if it's a cat, there's litter boxes, the well animal exams. Then you always have to think that possibly something catastrophic could happen and you're going to have to go to an emergency vet. I mean, you have to be prepared for those things.
Providing the basics of food, water, shelter, and vet care are vitally important aspects of pet ownership, but there's more to consider. Caring for the social and emotional needs of an animal is also key.
Right now, people tend to have very busy lives between family life and working and commuting and other activities going on and social media. There's a lot that takes away from pet ownership. So you want to make sure that if you have a pet in your family, that you're including them as part of your family. Dogs especially are very social beings, so they need to be incorporated into your family as part of your family. So if you're adopting a dog, you want to make sure that you take into consideration how you're going to implement or include this animal in your family, whether it be family activity, whether it be going on vacation, whether it be just ball games and so forth. You want to make sure that somehow you can include that animal into your family and you don't gain a resentment because it's taking time out of your schedule. Cats as well. Sometimes people think that cats are very aloof. A lot of times cats are just as social as other creatures, and this little guy behind me is a good example. He's perfectly interested in what's going on. Even rodents need to get out for exercise time and interaction. Animals are not designed to live in cages.
Perhaps the biggest factor to consider when adopting a pet is whether or not you can commit to that animal for its entire life.
A lot of times people don't realize how long an animal can live. Depending on the breed of dog, dogs may live 10 to 15, 16, or even 18 years if they're smaller breeds. Cats can live an average of 15 years, but much longer. We're reading about better nutrition, keeping cats indoors and safe, making sure that they see the vet on a regular basis can extend their life. So you want to make sure that you commit to your animal when you first get an animal to their whole entire life.
If you have questions about whether or not a pet would be a good addition to your family, contact the Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center.